Oh, man. Oh, hello. Y'all are probably wondering, Nick, what the heck is going on? What's with the camera angle? Why do things look so different? And you're not filming on your phone. Well, that is because, baby, we got ourselves a way better setup than we had before. Hey, look at that. We have an actual camera now, guys. Look at that. That's crazy, isn't it? Oh, what, are you going to unfocus now on me? Okay. From here on forward, the video quality is going to be getting a lot better. We're going to eventually, too, work on doing multiple angles and stuff like that, so just beware for that as well. Now, why don't we get this started the proper way? Hello everybody and welcome back yet again to another drum playthrough review. So thank you everyone for tuning in and stopping by. So glad to have you all here. For everyone who's brand new, hello, my name is Nick. I'm a multi-instrumentalist and I also do a lot of stuff with music mixing and mastering. And the reason why we like to do these videos is so that way we can take a drummer who's better than us, break down their technique, so that way it's a little bit easier to digest, and use that so that way we can better our own technique. So we have an exciting person that we are going to be reviewing today. This is a guy that's kind of made his name known all throughout YouTube for a little while now. He's got a very successful podcast known as the Downbeat Podcast, where he hosts all sorts of famous drummers, famous bands, and whatnot. He's had interviews with all sorts of musicians that I wish I could interview, and maybe eventually I will, but this dude's gotten the chance to talk to all sorts of people, and he's a very, very incredible drummer himself. We are talking about Craig Reynolds. Craig Reynolds, I believe, is an Australian drummer, and he plays a lot of different hardcore stuff and all that, and he's overall just an excellent drummer. He's really good about being able to analyze whether or not performances are natty or not, and he's just a very overall very intelligent drummer. I like the guy a lot. I think he's got a lot of good content. We're going to be reviewing a drum playthrough that this man did of a song. It's called Guillotine. I believe that's the name of the song. I don't know what the name of the band is. But either way, his claim to fame is always, as usual, 100% live, no edits, no samples, no BS. And we love that. You all know that we love that. We love it. Always been a big fan of people who are very, very open about the fact that they don't use any of that BS when they're playing. I do like that. If you do want to use that BS while you're playing, that's fine. Go for it. Just let us know. Don't be one of those people that's like, oh, I don't do that. No. Don't lie. That's ultimately what I'm trying to get at. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at this and see what we got going for Craig Reynolds here. All right. And without further ado, ladies and gents, let us get right into the video. Oh, we're coming out the bat strong already. I like the editing that they're using as far as this is concerned. Very much impactful. There's the handsome man himself. Oh yeah. He's got such good power when he plays, man. It's crazy. He's doing a triple with a split up between all three of his limbs, and that's really good. Those rim shots are super consistent. So he's using a lot of wrist technique, a lot of full leg motion, and that's because that's what this song kind of calls for. It's a hardcore song, so it's like you kind of need to have that in there. It needs to hit, it needs to be impactful. Super clean. I don't know whether or not his bass drum is triggered out or not. I assume not. Based on the sound, it sounds pretty natural to me. Because it is a wooden beater, so wooden beaters do produce a lot different of a sound than like the plastic or the felt beaters, so. I don't use them personally. I use plastic ones personally, but, you know, it is what it is. He's in the zone and focused on this song. Good little slam taps there for his fill there, split up between the cymbal and the snare. I like that. He's very accurate and on time too. That is one amazing thing about him.
Stupid fuck!
Very clean, very clean. I like that though. But yeah, this is very much a very power-heavy song. So you don't really want to use a whole lot of crazy like finger technique or anything fast. It's about just hitting hard. So he achieves that perfectly right here. Very good. He's adding the color in with the toms, and that just adds so many good layers to this drumming. So you can definitely tell though that he's not using any edits or any triggers or anything like that, just by listening to the sound of the drums. That's years of practice to get consistent hits. Wow. Dude, excellent job, Craig Reynolds. I do that too, actually, with microphones when I'm on the snare drum. I do that as well. Excellent job, Craig Reynolds. Oh my gosh. That dude is an absolute powerhouse. He's one of those drummers where he can just absolutely beat the crap out of his drums, make it sound absolutely excellent, and at the same time, keep it clean, keep it consistent, add a whole bunch of flavor and all that to it. So let's break down his performance real quick. So obviously, like we said, he's using a lot of wrist and full leg motion when he's behind the kit. And the reason for that is because this is a very power heavy song. So usually with power heavy songs, you're not going to rely on the smaller muscle groups or anything like that. Mainly because usually power heavy songs are slower. So you don't need to rely on the faster muscle groups or anything like that in order to achieve that speed. You're going to want to rely on the larger muscle groups in order to achieve that power. Because you're not worried about taking it to the next level as far as speed's concerned. Most of the powerful songs that are out there, they're not going to exceed like 200 BPM or anything like that. It's going to be a little bit more moderately ranged as far as the tempo is concerned. But you can definitely tell with this performance, Craig embodies the energy of the song perfectly because he's not only hitting the life out of the drums, but he's also keeping it very consistent as well. And that is something you want with a powerful song, is that you want to keep the consistency. If you're not staying consistent in some parts or like not really harboring the energy that they should be as compared to the rest of the song, then you're going to kind of throw the whole vibe of the thing off. So you need to make sure you're keeping that consistent. And he does that very well. He's using a lot of different rudiment fills that are in there in very interesting ways. So he's using what I saw in there for the one part, looks like a flam tap, but it was split up between his snare and his cymbal. So it's technically not a tap afterward, but I mean, like, you get what I'm saying. It's a rudiment variation. But yeah, that adds all sorts of little bit of itty bits of flavor in there. And I just love that. But yeah, he was doing his parts as well in the beginning intro where he was splitting up. It looked like a triplet between all three limbs that he had. One on the hi-hat, one on the tom, and one on the bass drum. That is something you don't see a lot of drummers doing nowadays, and that does testify to Craig Reynolds' limb independence. You don't see a lot of drummers who have that kind of limb independence nowadays, especially. Especially now with the modern market for drumming, everyone's just kind of all they're requiring is either blast beats or breakdowns. It's like there's no groove to it, so it's like, you know, you don't need the limb independence for that. You just need to make sure you can keep your backbeat steady and then just, do a single stroke roll and then instead just split it up between your ride and your hi-hat or what, or whatnot. But yeah, this was an absolutely crushing performance. He definitely captured the energy of the song, and he definitely has mastered his limb independence as well as keeping the groove consistent, steady, and absolutely heavy. So with that being said, what are some things that you can learn from this performance to improve your drumming? Well, for one, very much so, practice your grooves, practice your rhythm, practice your consistency. All that stuff is very vital, especially if you're going to be playing something that's a little bit more power based, I guess, in music, if you want to say it that way. At least something kind of like this particular style, I guess this would be considered hardcore. You definitely want to remain as consistent as possible, just so that way you can make sure that you're keeping the energy of the song consistent throughout the whole time. You don't want the song to be lacking in energy in any of the parts there, especially with this style. Hardcore is one of those styles where you have to keep that energy going. So consistency is very much key, especially in your playing. Definitely never forget about your rudiments. Always be practicing your rudiments. Always be practicing making sure you're able to keep on time with your rudiments as well. Make sure that your fills are also staying just as consistent and heavy as well. You don't want to be super heavy and super hard hitting on your backbeat, and then all of a sudden when it comes time for a fill, you're just tapping your toms. You want to make sure you're keeping that energy up with them as well, because the toms add so much expressiveness to your song. Having weak fills is going to be oftentimes attributing to a weak performance. So making sure everything stays consistent will definitely help you as well. And with all that being said, man, that's going to be it for this one. Great job, Craig Reynolds. That was an absolutely fantastic performance. Very much enjoyed that. And with all that being said, guys, we'll wrap the video up here. So here's a few things y'all can do to support me. So for one, you can like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. You can check out the playlists I have below with videos very similar to this. And you can also check out the links that I have down below for my Spotify page for my band. That would be helpful as well. And with all that being said, guys, that's the end of this one. So thanks for tuning in and stopping by. Hopefully I'll see y'all in the next one. And cheers, fellas.